How India will become dependent on Russia in 2022. Shocking. Hold up, wait a second, did you already subscribe? If not, please do so we can make more and better content for you. Let's start the video. Independent research firms have found that as Asia's third largest economy capitalizes on substantial price discounts induced by sanctions against Moscow, Russia has eclipsed Iraq and Saudi Arabia as India's largest oil supplier. Before Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, most of India's oil supplies came from Iraq and Saudi Arabia. Oil trade data show that due to Western energy sanctions, Russia has reduced prices for those importers still willing to purchase Russian petroleum, putting pressure on more expensive supply in nations like India. As Indian media reported this week, US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen indicated that the United States was okay with this trend continuing. Washington hoped New Delhi would gain leverage in its negotiations with Moscow by a Western price cap on Russian oil. The EU ban on the shipment of Russian crude oil goes into effect on December 5th, and the US government hopes that the price cap, which G7 countries agreed to impose in September, will be in place by then. To mitigate the global oil flow disruption caused by the sanctions, the mechanism will allow European companies to transport and ensure shipments of Russian oil to other countries at below a fixed price. Yellen said on Monday that she will visit New Delhi this week while ensuring that Russia still received a low oil price for its exports. We'd love it if India took advantage of this pricing floor. Russia welcomed India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar on Tuesday for a two-day visit that, according to Moscow, would focus on trade and investment, the use of the rupee and ruble in settlements, and promising projects in the energy sector. Jaishankar had not previously visited Russia before the start of the conflict. According to Jaishankar, it is the government's responsibility to give citizens the best possible access to international markets. And in that regard, I think I can honestly say that we have found the India-Russia relationship beneficial. On Tuesday, the price of a barrel of Brent, the international standard, was $97, while the cost of Russia's flagship Urals crude was $80. For most of this year, $30 has been added to the discount traders saw when buying Urals oil. 3 independent trackers have reported that Russian crude has displaced more expensive Iraqi and Saudi Arabian oil as India's primary source of oil imports. Over the previous 3 months, according to data compiled by Kepler, the average amount of Russian crude oil sent into India, the world's fastest growing major economy, in October was 970,000 barrels per day, up slightly from the September figure of 942,000 barrels per day. According to Kepler's numbers, the average amount of imported oil from Iraq was 806,000 barrels per day in September and 918,000 barrels per day in October, while the amount imported from Saudi Arabia dropped to its lowest level since March 2021 from 860,000 barrels per day in September to 617,000 barrels per day in October. Based on the data collected by Rystad Energy, senior analyst Janiv Shah has stated that Russia was India's primary oil supplier in June, August, September, and October. According to Serena Huang, head of Asia-Pacific analysis at Vortex, a third independent energy analytics business, Russia is boosting its market share at the expense of Saudi. According to information gathered by Vortex, Russian exports to India in October surpassed those of Iraq and Saudi Arabia. Based on Reuters government and True Data analysis, Iraq was India's most important supplier in September. According to Kepler's chief crude analyst Victor Katona, any inconsistencies between commercial data like Kepler's and official estimates may be a matter of timing. There may be a time lag since we notice the cargo movements, and national governments would most commonly calculate barrels that have been customs cleared. The additional Director General of India's Petroleum Ministry, Rajiv Jain, predicted that the country's top oil suppliers would shift over time. According to an interview Jain gave to the Financial Times, our oil corporations will buy whatever price they can obtain that is lowest. This is it, everyone. So what do you think? Leave a comment and let us know. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done that. Also put on the notifications because the following video is going to be a great one.